Alrighty, YouTube, it's your boy Zxous, and we are back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be talking about every character that you must summon for in 2023. Right now, I got this video idea from another YouTuber on a different gacha game, and I think this is going to be a nice video for Nikke specifically, because this is mainly for newer players, but obviously if you are an older player as well and you know this can help you, then by all means. Right, before we get into it, make sure you guys subscribe and like, of course. Thank you guys. We just hit 5.6, which is insane. I think we can crack maybe 6,000 by the end of the month, so if you guys want to help that by subscribing, then subscribe, of course. Right, I'll give you a second. It's just free. Subscribe. But yeah, so the thing is, when you watch a tier list, right, most of the times you're gonna see a character that's probably super high on the tier list, but they're up there because of the value they have for maybe one specific content, right? Like, for example, D is a good example, right? That's a character who is usually ranked high on a lot of people's tier lists, but that's because she's really only good against bosses. So I'm going to go over individual characters that I feel like are must summons for newer players or older players, right? And when I say must summons, I mean like these are the characters you're trying to target, and all those characters that will be beneficial for the entire game rather than just one aspect of the game. So obviously we're gonna start off with the obvious troops. Obviously there's two of them that are kind of obvious. Scarlet, right? This one is one of the characters. She is a character who's fantastic all around because she is the hardest hitting character in the game, right? This character is good in PvE, PvP, well, I guess it's just PvE and PvP, right? But like in general for PvE, right? So tower, solar raid, union raids, scoring, if you want scoring on shooting range and stuff like that. She's a very, very good character because she hits the hardest, right? So when you're re-rolling, obviously this is one of the two characters I would highly recommend to re-roll for, right? The other character is obviously going to be this unit right here, Modernia. Now, in my opinion and most people's opinion, this is the best character in the game overall. I do think this character is going to be a better option for you in the long run, right? I mean, I think Scarlet is obviously still as good as Modernia, don't get it twisted, but I think in general, like if you were to have, actually this is a question of the day. If you were to pick Scarlet and Modernia, right? If Nikke gave you a free Scarlet and Modernia and you never had any of the two, which one would you pick? You can only take one. Would you take the free Modernia or the free Scarlet? And you can't have the other one, and you never had the other one as well, right? Let me know in the comments down below. But Modernia is a fantastic character. She's decent enough in PvP, right? She's not like as good as Scarlet in PvP, but she is okay in PvP. In PvE, she's a fantastic character, right? When it comes to bosses, when it comes to mobs, she does her job quite well because of her burst skill, obviously being somewhat of like she has infinite bullets, right? And then she gets a radius where anything in that radius just gets destroyed, and it's quite a big radius too for 15 seconds that you could move across the map. Think of it as a semi-AoE that's like movable. I don't know how to explain it really in terms of like what I'm going for with that burst skill topic right there. But she is a fantastic character, and this is easily one of the two characters you want to try re-rolling for, or pulling, of course, as much as you possibly can, right? Her and Scarlet are the main two. Now, there's these two characters who I do think are characters you want to go for. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend going for them individually, but I would recommend going for them together, and that's obviously the bunny girls, right? The bunny girls are the two girls that you want to go for together, right? These two. I think Blanc and Noir, if you're gonna go for them, go for both of them, right? Not really one of them. If you were going for one of them, then it would be Noir, because she's a character who's just beneficial. Like, she's gonna be very good with or without Noir, realistically, right? The reload mag and the reload well, the increase in ammo capacity and the reload mag, and then also the attack buff is just going to be very nice for your team in general. The burst skill is as good as well, but if you're not using her burst skill, it's fine. She's still doing a fantastic job. Blanc is a great character as well, but she really depends on her burst skill, and the only way you can have her burst skill be consistent is if you have Noir. So if we're going individual, Noir is a character you definitely want to try to go for. Blanc is a character you don't want to go for if you're trying to go for that individually. Now, if you're going for both of them together, which I would highly recommend, then yes, you want to go for both of them together. Both of them together is basically Kobe and Shaq, or Jordan and Pippen. These are the dream team. This is the dream team right here. So you want to definitely try to go for those two characters right there. Another character that much people don't really talk about is Alice. I do think this is a character that will be decent enough. Honestly, for a newer player, I wouldn't really like focus down on trying to get this character, if you want me to be so honest. But for an older player, if you still don't have this character, you're probably going to want to try your best at getting this character, whether regardless it's on your wish list or even through the banners, right? This is a character you kind of want to aim for, right? And then when you do pull her, you build as well, right? But for a newer player, this is definitely not a character you want to aim for. I say that because she's a character who is good when you're fully invested, right? Now, I'm not saying if she's not fully invested, she's bad. I'm just saying this is a character that is meant for people who are going to fully invest into her. This is not a character. She's not as good as Modernia and Scarlet. How do I word this? Her with no investment is not good, or is not as good as like Scarlet or Modernia with no investment, right? Her with full investment is as good as Scarlet and Modernia in terms of damage, right? But her with no investment is not as good as Scarlet and Modernia with no investment, right? This character just kind of needs investment. So Alice, don't really recommend for new players. Older players, I do. Dorothy is a good enough character for a lot of people. Would I recommend new players chase her? Early on, yes, but not reroll for her, because this is a character who is good, but I do feel like you kind of still need to have the damage there from your other people on your team, right? Right. Remember, Dorothy does a lot of damage because everybody else on the team is, damaging the character who has the brand effect. So if you're running Dorothy with characters who just don't do damage like Crow and Epenel, it's not really going to work in your favor. So this is a character I wouldn't recommend to re-roll for, obviously, but it's a character that you want to have on your account. Maybe early on if you are re-rolling for Modernia and Scarlet for sure, or of course if you're already in the game, end game player, mid game player, this is the character you want to have for majority of the game when you have your team set, your damage set, right? This is another character who's very, very good for a lot of people. I even think new players will benefit from this character heavily, just because of how she works and how shields work in this game, right? If you guys want to know how shields work in this game, go ahead and watch my latest top 10. Nikke's in the game. She is part of that. She is a top 10 unit in the game. I do think this is a great character for new players. Wouldn't recommend to re-roll for her, but if you can get this character early on, this will be a fantastic character to help you progress, right? This is a character who will literally take care of a lot of your damage problems, because she just nullifies most of the damage a lot of the time consistently. Fantastic character. She's a fantastic character. So I would highly recommend new players, older players, newer players after you've done your rerolls. This is a character you want to try to aim for. Obviously, older players, if you still don't have her, you got to do something about that. You got to find a way to get her quickly, right? She's a fantastic character. I don't want to talk too much about this character, and it's only because if somebody's watching this video, this is a limited character. So for the people who are new watching this video for the first time, like 3 months later, this is a character who is limited. So when you're watching this video, her banner may not be out, and that's the only reason why I'm not talking about a character like this. Doesn't really make sense for me to talk about a character you cannot get any time of the week, right? Every other character I've talked about, you can get any time of the week. This character, you cannot get her any time of the week. But she's a fantastic character, of course. One of the best DPSs in the game, and she's a supporter, by the way. But, yeah, she's just a character you cannot get any time of the week, so I'm not going to talk much about her. Litter. This is a character who also a lot of people ask, should I reroll for her? I don't think this is a great reroll. Right? I think if you're rerolling for a character, it should be a damage-dealing character. Right? I don't think you should be re-rolling for support. So I don't think you should be re-rolling for Dorothy. I don't think you should be re-rolling for Litter. I don't think you should be re-rolling for Senti. And I say that because those are characters that are not going to do much for you until you have your team set. Well, I don't want to say that that's a crazy take. I'm not going to lie. Litter will do enough for you regardless of what your team is, right? But why would you re-roll for Litter to support a team that's not good, when you can reroll for Modernia or Scarlet, right? And they just carry the team. This is the thing. I haven't mentioned it, but Modernia and Scarlet carry their team, right? They're a one woman show. Literally, they carry the team. Modernia and Scarlet are enough to just take your team all the way to the end. Not they're good, the best on the team. No, they are the team. The other characters on your team are extra, unless you have characters like Litter on the team, right? So that's why I highly, highly recommend rerolling Modernia, or Scarlet. Obviously, you can go for a character like Haran. Not really a character I would recommend to any player. New players, sure, right? If you're re-rolling, this is the character you probably want to go for. But in the long run, not really going to be all that crazy, honestly. I do recommend Scarlet, Modernia heavily, right? And then there's other characters here that you would just get along the way, but I don't think these are characters, like the other characters I'm thinking about, like, for example, Rapunzel, right, Snow White. These are characters that I would recommend getting later down the line, but they're not characters that I would say to focus on, right? I would say your main targets are Modernia, the Bunny Girls, Senti, Litter, Dorothy, Alice if you are already in the game, like end game, mid game type player. Maybe Rapunzel, I guess, for the heals. This is honestly the best healer in my opinion. I would say this is the best healer in the game because she is the most consistent healer. There's no healer in the game that's as consistent as her, because every other healer besides Pepper, realistically, and the OG Mary only heal when you use a full burst. This character heals when you use a full charge. Yeah, that's crazy. Right, so I know a lot of people are gonna be like noise, but noise is not healing unless you use her burst skill. Not to mention noise is on a 40-second cooldown burst skill, right? Where is my noise? Where is my noise? I don't even know where my noise is. Okay, here. Right, noise is not healing unless you use the burst skill. So, and that's on a 40-second cooldown. So there's no way I'm gonna ever say noise is a better healer than Rapunzel. That's just silly. But yeah, those are the characters I would recommend to go for. There's obviously a lot of other good characters, but I'm not gonna tell you to go for every character in the game. Those are the characters that you should probably just focus on and try to summon for within 2023. Right? Probably will make an updated video after the anniversary, since that'll be a 1 year, special, I guess. But you guys let me know what you think. It's your boy Zxous. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.